it was pretty interesting. It was a good night of fights. The last four fights that actually mattered, you know. Uh, so whoever the previous heavyweight champion, I don't know any of these guys because majority of these guys, they've never fought outside of Bellator, so I have no idea who, you know, 99% of the guys that fight in Bellator are, with the exception of Eddie Alvarez. That's the only guy I know who's never fought in UFC or Pride or anywhere that that is of any significance to me. Eddie Alvarez is an amazing lightweight champion, and the winner for the heavyweight tournament, he was a previous uh, heavyweight champion. Kudos to him. He did a good job. Tito's fight, Tito Ortiz, man, he surprised me. I wasn't expecting him to win like that. However, when I found out that the guy he was fighting was actually their middleweight champion, who was trying to stack up to 205 pounds by eating nothing but vegetables, I don't get it. I don't get it. The guy obviously was very technical, is a very technical striker, and has huge uh, career win margin, like what was it, like 57 fights, 53 wins. Like that is pretty impressive. But yeah, Tito, he's not put in a position. He was put in a position he hasn't been in before. He's been there, hundreds of times, and kudos to him. Like, I'll admit, for a long time now, I had lost all respect for Tito when he started, when he hooked up with Jenna Jameson, because that was like that's like the dumbest move any man of substance, any real man of substance could do. But he hooked up with her, married her. I guess he had kid. I think he might have had a couple kids with her, and he went through a very, very horrible divorce. He's had more surgeries than I think he's had the most surgeries than anybody in mixed martial arts history. It's ridiculous. Torn ACL, neck problems, just a bunch of different things, and he just keeps coming back. And for him to get his first win in a long time against somebody with well known within Bellator. You know, kudos to him. I don't know how much longer his career could last, but Bellator doesn't have doesn't have that many real world class athletes. I mean, that's why Joe Riggs just freaking plowed through Fight Master no problem. I mean, they had Fight Master was so much better than Ultimate Fighter, and I hope they get a second season because that was great. There was none of this coach hate coach BS, none of the stupid drama that's happening at the house. No, just straight up the training and the fight. That's it. And the fact that the fighters get to choose everything. They choose their coaches. They choose their opponent. It just worked out beautifully. Just so much better. Then I don't know who the guys are fighting for the interim lightweight belt, but you had the former champion go up against this new guy who, uh, he put a beating on him. He put a beating on him, and all the credit in the world to him. I think Eddie Alvarez is going to have his hands full, and that's going to be pretty interesting to see. I might actually go out of my way to see that one. Then, of course, the main event, King Mo versus Rampage Jackson. Uh, it was very to me. It was very reminiscent of when Rampage fought Rashad Evans. Again, freaking grudge match, trash talking back and forth, and then when it got down to it, the only thing that Rashad Evans was able to do was basically hold him up against the cage for 3 rounds. That's pretty much all he did. I don't know if he I don't remember if he landed any punches. The fight was a while ago. I don't know if he landed punches. I don't know if he landed any significant takedowns or anything like that. But he just pretty much pressed him against the cage the entire time. Rampage in the last round. knocks his, just cleans his clock, knocks him down, rocks him hard, but was not able to, finish. Uh, and Rashad Evans recovered, and lo and behold, he wins the fight because I don't know, they scored UFC scores was it was very different from Pride. Basically, the guy on top is the one that's going to win. I mean, you have to do a significant amount of damage on the bottom in order for any for there's only been like two people that's ever been successful in fighting from the bottom and actually winning the fight. Uh, and for this particular fight, what happens is King Mo says he's going to box with Rampage. Rampage straight up called it. He said he's not going to box with me. He's going to try to wrestle. He's going to pretend like he's going to box, but he's going to wrestle. And then as soon as the fight starts, what does King Mo do? Shoots in for a takedown. Lands it too. So right then and there, King Mo's a liar. And Rampage, if there's one thing he absolutely needs to work on, it's his jiu-jitsu. With his jiu-jitsu, he would have he could have probably finished the fight a lot sooner, or been able to get out of some of the sticky situations he was in a lot quicker. But King Mo took him down a bunch of times in the first round. But most of the significant damage was done by Rampage, and all King Mo was doing was, again, holding him up against the cage just like Rashad Evans. I think he landed maybe like 3 punches the entire fight. Not to mention, while he took him down and tried doing ground and pound, he didn't land a single punch. The most of the significant damage was done in the stand-up, and it was done by Rampage. So, if this was UFC, the fight would have went to King Mo. No ifs, ands, or buts. King Mo would have won the fight because he landed more significant takedowns, because that's how the judges for UFC feel. Judges in Bellator, you know, did it a little bit differently, and I was shocked to find that out. I was glad that they ruled the decision the way they did in Rampage's favor because, like I said, Rampage did the more significant damage, and Rampage is immediately calling for a rematch. He's like, "Cause I wasn't happy with my performance. I wanted to knock him out. I'm not gonna be happy till I knock him out." And King Mo's like, "Yeah, I won that fight. I won," and a bunch of stuff that I'm not gonna say. But I hate King Mo. Absolutely lousy attitude, and it's no wonder UFC hasn't signed him because this guy's not professional at all. He absolutely is not a professional. He doesn't have a business mindset. Tito Ortiz and Rampage, they never necessarily had that professionalism about them either. Granted, both of them are characters, and they used to sell. That's the only reason why UFC kept them as long as they did, and but that was probably one of the biggest problems with Pride. They had all these characters and none of the no real professionalism among them. And Tito, granted, he made a lot of smart business decisions, and the man doesn't have to work. He doesn't have to work for the rest of his life. But he's made enough money, but he chooses to fight, and because that's what that's what you do. I mean, that's like when you retire a soldier. The war's over. He's done his 20 years. You put him out to pasture. Now what's he supposed to do? Because that's all he knows. It's the same thing with Rampage Jackson, and I'm sad to hear that his old wrestling coach died last month. Um, and for him to come away and win this light heavyweight tournament. Another thing that bothers me about the Bellator tournaments, like why don't they give them something? I mean, these guys just win. It's like, okay, the tournament winner, and they go home. That's it. I mean, UFC, when they stopped giving away the belts, at least they gave away medals. You know, at least Hoist Gracie, first UFC, was the first UFC, got a medal. Vitor Belfort wins the first ever heavyweight championship, heavyweight tournament in 19, gets a medal. Dan Henderson got a medal. So like all these guys got medals, and what was it, the Japanese Vale the Japanese Vale Tudo, gave away these big trophies. The Pride Grand Prix winners got trophies. I mean, half the size of them. I mean, they were huge. It's like those guys get nothing, just a pat on the back, and I mean, even the Ultimate Fighter winners get those big, glass, trophies saying, saying that they're the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, come on, man. I mean, you have to award like something for their achievement. I mean, granted, yeah, they get I don't know how much money they win, and they get a title shot, but come on. I mean, you just put these guys through the ringer, and then it was like, oh, by the way, yes, you won all this, and we're not really giving you anything yet. I I don't know how well Rampage is gonna do against this next guy. I don't know who their current champion is. As a matter of fact, I think they got two champions because one of them's injured, can't hasn't come back yet, and they got the other guy. He's the interim title holder, who beat King Mo to a bloody pulp, and then him and Rampage and Tito was supposed to fight, and now that Tito's back in fighting shape, I know a lot of people are gonna want to see that now. Um, so yeah, it was a good night of fights, at least the ones that counted. I didn't see anybody else I was fighting because I don't know who anybody else is. And Bellator is definitely stepping up its game, having its first pay-per-view ever, and people took a lot of profanity liberties. I mean, that stuff was just flying all over the place a while, but for the most part, man, it's like just it's nice to see they're stepping their game up. More and more fighters are going to be coming out of the woodwork, which is good for them, which is good for the sport. It's going to make them a lot more money. However, UFC is still the best. No fans of buts. Whoever they have as their champions or anything like that, guaranteed. With the exception of maybe Eddie Alvarez. I don't know how he'll do against Anthony Pettis. But I would love to. I would really love to see how that would go, how that fight would go down, and yeah, it's you know, UFC would pretty much win hands down, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts, and take care.